welcome to the Pony 411 podcast. And this week is, well, the last podcast of the year.
Hooray!
For 2013. Woohoo! Yeah. I'm Nemesis, and that hooray you just heard was Alcatraz.
Hi.
Yeah. We have a episode to talk about, of course, because so far we have not seen a single break, which is actually quite surprising.
It is. We had a couple of them last season and season before. Well, not really last season, but season 2 we had a lot.
Season 2 and 3 both had breaks.
There was a few, but
breaks,
there was also the fact that it was half the size.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Yeah, it also ended really good. But anyway, yeah, no breaks so far, so we got a new episode to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit probably about the year in general.
And
we have also, of course, quick hits with probably a little bit of a small discussion at the end of that as well. So anyway, yeah, just to start us off, Snowflake, the muscle-bound white Pegasus, might have an official name. And according to the collectible card game, it's Bulk Biceps.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, of course.
Tiered canon.
Yep. Yeah, so yeah, we talked about tiered canon before. Now you gotta get the show, the comics, cards, merchandise, what show staff says on Twitter,
yes.
What ex-show staff says on Twitter.
Yeah, and with the cards, we have 2 separate sets of cards.
Yeah, we got
they're done by the same company,
and,
so they should keep the
those
names.
should line up. But yeah, it's just stuff. It's like a lot of people don't consider it officially canon until it shows up in the show.
Yep.
Because remember Bon Bon? Everyone likes to call her Bon Bon. Officially, she's Sweetie Drops.
Well, that one's a little bit different. They literally cannot.
I know they can't, but still, almost everyone calls her Bon Bon.
Yes, I think the reason we stick with that is because we just know it.
Just everyone knows when you say Sweetie Drops.
I think we're gonna do the same thing with Snowflake.
Yeah, a lot of people call him Snowflake, so it's not gonna stick unless.
And they might change it. They might retcon it. They've done it with some things.
Yeah, they've done it before.
Moon, Heartstrings.
Yeah.
All they did was pre-pen our names to them. But
yeah. I believe Megan McCarthy said something about Snowflake on Twitter once.
Yeah.
She kind of teased that
have a name, but didn't actually say anything.
Yeah, she might have just been referring to the card game, but she might be referring to something in the show.
So we'll see. Are we going to get conflicts? Because remember, Enterplay, I think is the name of the card.
Enterplay.
They're not Hasbro.
They're not Hasbro,
but they're licensed. It's official, but it's also third party.
But that also means that everything they make is approved by Hasbro.
Yes, it's approved. But this is where we get into the fun tiered canon.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Newsarama has posted an article examining the relationship between Hasbro and IDW Publishing. In it, they talk about G.I. Joe, Transformers, and, of course, My Little Pony. If you're interested in such things, well, go check it out, because it's actually kind of interesting what they talk about, how that relationship has gone so far.
I think, isn't that the same article they talked about the mini comics? There's like mini comic things that are coming
I believe
up
this
too.
is actually a different article.
Is it? Because I couldn't remember they talking about.
I know they talked about that, but this also because they're talking about how in this comic, like a lot of the official designs for IDW wound up being official merchandise for Transformers. Like they made these designs and then they made toys out of them. I actually got them 2 of them on my desk right now.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. There was one that originally the fans of Transformers didn't like what IDW made, but it slowly grew on them.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Transformers fans are weird. I'll just tell you that right now. Actually, that's like every other fan base. There's always the weird ones, and it's always the weird ones who are loud.
Yes.
Anyway,
moving on.
BronyCon has announced the attendance of Heather Breckel, a colorist for the MLP comics, and Tony Fleeks. I'm really hoping I said that one right. An artist who made several covers and did the artwork for the Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy microseries.
Unfortunately, that one's on the other side of the coast from me.
Yeah, so it's like very difficult to go.
For us, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you got our own over here, though.
In other con news, BabsCon has announced that Peter New, the voice of Big Mac, will be attending.
Yep.
They've obviously got quite the guest lineup going now.
They do. That's looking like it's going to be a big one.
It's going to be one of the big ones this year. Hopefully, it's not going to.
Hopefully, it's going to go like our other big ones that we've had going, and not like that
BronyCon and Everfree.
Yes,
and
hopefully, and not like that one that we shall not name.
Yeah. Well, not right now, anyway.
Not right now. It's been named plenty. I don't think we have to.
In case it wasn't obvious by now, Megan McCarthy has confirmed that Rarity will have a song, and probably it's going to be Rarity Takes Manhattan is going to be the one.
That would make most sense.
So that means next one.
I wonder if we're going to get that duet. Because there was supposed to be a duet.
I remember the rumors
going,
the stuff going around about Rarity and Octavia duet.
Yeah, there was.
And they did tease that a fan favorite was going to get named.
Yeah. And I think Octavia's been showing up in the background a little bit more.
I haven't noticed.
I don't know. It may have been previous stuff. But yeah, I could see it. Manhattan, Octavia.
Why not?
Why not?
A British publisher called Hatchet has released a few MLP coloring and sticker books with plans to eventually expand into a chapter book series. If you live in the UK, you might be worth checking out because so far there's been the chapter books in the US, which I've read one of them.
I have a few of them. I haven't finished reading them all, but
They take like 10 minutes.
I know, but I'm doing other things. Hush.
I have one on
I'm
Kindle.
sorry, I can't make it through level 1 reading books.
Yeah, so far they've been pretty. At least the one I read was pretty in step with the show.
Yeah, I think the big one that I was reading was like the one about the mirror.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that one, but I haven't actually finished it.
so yeah, you might want to take a look. You never know. So they're not out yet. Whatever. But anyway, the creator of the Genesis classic Echo the Dolphin has expressed interest in creating a My Little Pony game. One wonders if Hasbro would be on board with this idea, because I know like way forward, the people who were making the Shantae Half Genie Hero game are also have expressed interest in making a My Little Pony game, and they've worked with licensed properties like that in the past. So and they seem to know what they're doing when they handle it. Like they've also, I believe they did the the DuckTales remastered recently as well.
Yeah. I'd love to see more games.
I'd love to see
official games,
like
something
platforming
other
stuff.
than a platform would be great.
Something.
An official platformer, because we have a few unofficial
A lot of them
out
actually.
there. Yeah, it would be great to see some more official games, unlike the
Game Loft one.
Game Loft one. Getting a little tired of that one.
Yeah. Anyway, in show news, a slightly different synopsis of Pinkie Apple Pie has popped up from AT&T Universe, and it is as follows. After learning that she is possibly a cousin to Applejack and other members of the Apple family, Pinkie Pie agrees to meet with a certain relative who may be able to provide conclusive evidence proving that she is related to them. And those are little details that they have not revealed. One, cousin is the familial relation, and
That's a
two,
very specific relation.
certain relative. I was like, who is that? Some
Yeah,
people are assuming possibly Granny Pie, which she's mentioned before.
it's possible.
Some people are thinking possibly her parents, the sisters, because I remember there was the thing going around we were going to see the Pie sisters. So this might be the episode we see them.
Yeah, it might be interesting.
Actually, that would make the most sense. This is where we see them.
Yeah.
Talking about Pinkie's family. We've been waiting because I don't remember what their name, Limestone and...
I can't remember.
I don't remember the other one, but I do know
It's
that...
Inky and Blinky.
Yeah, the one, again, is one of those... It's one of those things there was no way they're going to be called Inky and Blinky because,
No.
Namco, Batman.
Namco would throw a fit.
Yeah, it would not work. But yeah, so that's in a couple weeks. Looking forward to that one. Anyway, speaking of Pinkie Pie and stuff, about that Weird Al episode that was announced last week, well, it turns out that was an error.
Sort
The
of.
episode is still coming in the future, and it has been confirmed to be a musical,
Of course.
just not in January. Instead, the episode 3's A Crowd will be focusing on Twilight and Cadence with the synopsis as follows. Twilight is looking forward to some quality bonding time with Princess Cadence, but when a sick friend shows up needing Twilight's attention, it looks like her plans for a peaceful visit with her sister-in-law will have to be put on hold.
I wondered who the sick friend is.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It's like it's a sick friend, so it's okay. So it's someone who Twilight knows.
Well, that cuts it down a lot, actually, because she barely knows anyone.
Actually, she knows quite a few people. It's just,
I guess.
but still, it's like for me,
We'll
I'm
see.
still looking forward to this because it's Twilight and Cadence. We
course
don't
you are.
see them interacting with each other that much either.
We don't.
To
It
be
will be a
honest.
little bit interesting.
Because we've
Well,
seen them.
apparently we won't be seeing that much interaction anyway.
Well, we might. We're gonna. I'm hopefully because Cadence and Twilight don't. They're supposed to be super close, and yet
Yeah.
they don't get to talk that often. So I'd like to actually see that happening, especially it's Twilight. Twilight's the best.
Of course. You just. Yeah. I can't say anything. I have the same thing with Rainbow Dash. Anyway.
Yeah, so, woohoo! So yeah, like I said, don't worry. Weird Al episode is coming, just not as soon as we thought. Anyway, the MLP Facebook page has posted a picture of the new Rainbow Power line. The wording of the post is ambiguous enough, however, that it's unclear whether or not the new designs will appear in the show or not. And you've probably seen them. It's just
Yeah, they've
and
been
the
showing
toys
the merch
popped.
has been
Yeah, the
showing all over
toys
place.
popped up a while ago on like eBay and Taobao and stuff.
Yeah, well, I've been seeing them in the stores too.
And yeah, they just popped up on stores recently as well. And it's got there's like the little extra like tattoo things and the extra colors in the hair and
Dash has got the colors under her wing and the extra stripes, and it's interesting of note that the Rainbow there's also the Rainbow Rocks line.
Yeah, the Rainbow
EQG
Rocks line from Equestria Girls, which is also apparently Trixie's one of them, and she's got a double neck. It looks kind of weird.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any tie-in with the Rainbow Rocks and Rainbow Power. I mean, they look similar design changes.
Yeah.
Too.
So,
but then the question
really don't
is,
know
are
because
they
of the wording.
show up in the show?
Yeah, because of the wording, it's not sure. We're not sure. Is it going to show up in the show or not? Some people are worried.
Yeah.
And some of them are worried it's going to have something to do with the box.
Yes, the box contains Rainbow Power.
And the thing is, the designs have been very not well received.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I mean, but we have seen stuff show up. We have seen toys show up that have never seen and hopefully never see in the show.
Applejack's truck.
Princess Skyla.
Oh, yeah, that.
But we all wanted to forget that never showed up.
Yeah, I remember people thought she was going to show up.
Oh, boy. So
I don't believe.
We'll see. I mean,
but it's just the Fed said it'll coming to Equestria, which is what alarms people, and the fact that these are updated vectors.
Yeah.
Of course, that doesn't really mean anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because Hasbro is well known for cheaping out and just recycling vectors.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it's not a permanent change if it does happen.
Or maybe Rainbow Power replaces Element Power, and
it's just a transformation thing.
Like a temporary transformation.
I hope it's not a permanent change because I'm honestly not really digging the yellow on Twilight.
I don't mind the extra rainbow on rainbow. I mean, she's already got the colors going.
Yeah,
her design's not too bad.
Yeah, what was it? Someone said Rainbow and Pinky got off the easiest.
Well, that reminds me. What the hell is Pinky's Boutique about?
Oh yeah,
those toy lines.
That's just been popping up lately.
Yeah, we see those. So
it's this weird.
It could be just a toy line that has nothing to do with the show. We are seeing some.
But again, this is kind of weird that the wording of that post is just kind of alarming. So
we'll see
what happens.
I'll watch people go completely nuts over it.
Yeah, that's always fun. Anyway, finally, the fan game Super Lesbian Horse RPG is finally out. If you're interested in a game with a classic RPG feel and with lesbian horses, check it out. And the soundtrack as well. Oh, yeah, we've both played this a little bit.
Yeah, we both played through it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
It's pretty fun if you're a fan of JRPGs, which
you just remember playing them as from like the SNES era.
Yeah, I was never huge into JRPGs myself, but I'm enjoying this one.
Yeah, it's fun. It was designed. The creator said it's supposed to be short and easy because he wants it to be able people who not really play JRPGs and stuff to be able to get into it.
Yeah. Without
having to grind and having to know all the stuff about JRPGs. And it's more story driven than anything. He just doesn't want that.
That's another one. The creator says, don't just rush through it. Go around and find little things because most of the funny stuff's like little secrets and things. But even then, you can get through it in about 3 to 6 hours, depending on how much extra stuff you go through. So it's short and sweet.
You can grab it on. There's download links out there and the soundtrack as well if you want that.
Yep.
On Bandcamp, and you don't have to pay. You could if you want. Give them a little bit of money, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's it's got. You start off, you're playing pretty much as Fluttershy.
Yeah, she's the main character, so.
And then you add ponies to your party, first Dash and then Twilight, and it looks like Applejack's the fourth.
Yeah, it looks like Applejack will be the fourth.
And apparently Rarity and Pinky are not.
Yeah.
They just sit around.
Haven't made it that far myself yet, so.
Yeah, it's just it's obvious because there's only slots for 4 people.
Yeah.
So
it's fun, and if the name didn't give anything out, yes, there's shipping involved.
Lots of shipping.
It's
improbable shipping, but which I know someone who will be kind of mad just because he does not like the improbability. He doesn't like the concept of all 6 of them happening to be lesbians and happening to all be in relationships with each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, yes. The game's mostly played for laughs too. It's just a lot of goofy humor.
It doesn't really take itself seriously, which is part of its charm. So. Definitely
not at all seriously, and it also kind of plays on a few JRPG tropes, I guess.
Yeah.
And just what you know about the show, because you don't go to Ponyville. Was it Ponette City or Pony?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
The names of the towns are changed.
Yeah, all the characters are the same names, but everything else is like, for some reason, Twilight lives in a bookstore, not a library.
Yes.
And also, a lot of it is with our limitations RPG Maker itself. Just just stuff like this.
If it sounds interesting, go play it.
Yeah, it's funny. It just there's a lot of dialogue. I don't want to go into it just because I don't want to spoil it for you. Yeah, but it's just there's a lot of funny dialogue. Check it out.
Check it out.
That's that for the quick hits. And of course, we got our sort of discussion. We have a new episode, and that's Bats. And in case it was one of those things where it's like we thought, oh, it's gonna be totally an Applejack episode. Wait, Fluttershy's showing up. What is this?
This is not the first time an Applejack episode has turned into someone else's episode.
Yeah. So basically, Applejack's having trouble with the vampire fruit bats. They're all sucking the juices out of the apples and ruining them, and the last time it happened, it was a horrible thing according to Granny Smith, so she wants to get rid of them as fast as possible, and Fluttershy doesn't want to hurt them and trying to suggest alternate solutions, and Applejack will have none of it, just wants to get rid of them.
Gotta get rid of them.
Then they kind of come up with a compromise, but Fluttershy's still very hesitant about doing it.
Yep.
And basically the idea is they just let's just make it so the fruit bats just don't want to eat the apples anymore, and it works, or it seems it works, because they don't want to.
Yeah, it seems to work, which is surprising because this isn't the first time Twilight's done a spell like that.
Well, then
Last
again,
time
you
it
think
didn't work so well.
You think that maybe people say things like that, but you think maybe she
maybe figured out what she screwed up the first time, and so she figured out what she did wrong.
She's not someone dumb who will just do something exactly the same thing twice and then expect different results. So you would have modified it or figured out what went wrong the first time. But anyway, so something different goes wrong because this only happens halfway through.
Yes.
And eventually they find out there's something still sucking the juice out of the apple. So they eventually go on a stakeout. And it turns out obvious Fluttershy isn't exactly right anymore.
Yeah, she seemed a little iffy.
And then they find out, guess what? Fluttershy is turning into a bat pony thing.
Flutterbat.
Yep, Flutterbat. So yeah, she's the one going around sucking the juice out of the apples, and they got to try to find a way to turn it back. But of course, the last time what happens is
they needed Fluttershy to perform the stare on the bats so that the bats would get their attention. But now, since Fluttershy is a bat, they can't get Fluttershy to do the stare on herself.
They figured out a way using mirrors to get Fluttershy to kind of hold still for a second so Twilight could do the spell and fix everything. Or did she? So yeah, that was the episode in a nutshell. So Alcatraz, what did you think?
I thought it was a great episode. Never thought Fluttershy would act like that. That was awesome. Couple interesting points. We had a song.
New song.
Yes, we had a new song. It was pretty good, actually. A little interesting how they played it out. Not as good as some of them, but not bad. Not at all.
It was okay. That's my opinion.
Yeah. In the beginning of the episode, Applejack had the giant apple.
Very giant apple.
Very, very giant apple. They're going to take to a contest.
Yeah.
And that was, one of the main reasons they wanted the vampire bats gone, because they didn't want her to suck the juice out of the giant apple.
Yep.
And then suddenly the apple was never mentioned again until the very, very end, and they use it to lure Fluttershy.
Yeah.
It's a little
we don't have
interesting.
To really mention it again. It's like they established
I know, but
the apple's there.
It's there, and then now it's bait. It wasn't there, and I didn't notice there wasn't much lead up with Applejack. Maybe it's just because it was 22 minutes again.
It didn't really need to be lead up. There's an apple. It's a prize-winning apple.
Yes.
Or it's going to be a prize-winning apple, and she wants to protect it, and then of course she has to sacrifice it to save Fluttershy because she'd rather save her friend than have a nice apple.
And the thing that I'm saying that's probably due to lack of time. They never explained that they were going to use the apple. They just did.
They did a lot of this cutaway stuff.
I know. It's probably due
it's
to
not
lack
a
of
difficult
time.
concept to connect.
Like the minor.
How are we going to catch her?
Thing. Yeah, you have to lure her in.
Well, that was their explanation. They don't really have to explain that. That's an extra extraneous dialogue you don't really need when you can just show it.
Yeah. And
get the same concept across. Otherwise, it's just too wordy.
So yeah, that ending though.
Yeah, that ending.
Still had a little bit of that fang.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, of course, the fan base is latched onto it because
run with it, because that's just what we do.
Yeah, at the end, Fluttershy still has fangs, so it's like, what does that mean?
Small bit of a fang left.
Yeah, so people are wondering if that not wondering. It's just there's speculation of that. Is that going to come into play later, or is that just a joke that will never be mentioned again? Because it's also the same thing with I guess the end of Castlemania, where it's just we had that shadow show up at the very end, the Shadow Pony actually showing up, but is that going to actually become a thing, or is that again just a little joke at the end that's never going to be mentioned again?
Yeah.
We don't really know. We won't know probably until the end of the season, for sure, until the end of the season.
Yeah. Till either we see it at the end of the season or we don't see it at the end of the season.
Yeah, once from that point, we're like, yeah, it was a one-off joke.
And then
my
it shows
bet
up in a
is one-off joke.
season.
That's my bet, just one-off.
Yeah.
Not kind of probably show up again. Yeah, so yeah, I liked the episode. It was really fun. The song I thought was okay. I mean, I liked other songs better, but yeah, it was okay. Sometimes the lyrics kind of felt a little clumsy, but yeah. I mean, I also saw it was kind of Danny Elfman-esque, and if you don't know who Danny Elfman is, he did the music for like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And a lot of other Tim Burton stuff, so just know that. And I believe he also did I think he did the theme for The Simpsons. I think that was him.
I don't know.
Anyway, I liked it a lot. As we said, it looked like it was going to be Applejack centric. It still kind of was, but also kind of shifted a lot over. It was more Applejack and Fluttershy centric, and I think a lot of people aren't really accepting of. It's weird how people are resistant to this focus on two ponies at once thing at times.
Everyone wants to see their favorite pony in the spotlight.
Yeah, it doesn't help. I guess Applejack so far has had the least amount of episodes dedicated to her, and when she does, often she gets overshadowed very quickly.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Surprisingly, the barn was not destroyed.
Surprisingly, yes. The orchard was.
Yeah, the orchard was. I mean, it was actually nice. You actually saw the different, they actually made brand new backgrounds where the trees were all wilted and grody looking.
They did a couple cool lighting effects, I think.
Yeah, there was a lot of good lighting effects. The effects during the song were good.
Yeah, and apparently sunset happens really, really fast.
Yeah,
sunrise. It's like a 3-second sunrise.
Sunrises aren't as long as you might think they are.
Wait. Poof, sun. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah, you should have seen. That was also funny, just Applejack bucking that first tree and just dancing the shower of apples with apples in her eyes.
The apple of her eye.
Yeah, yes. Oh, man.
Oh, that was great.
That was a great scene. Then his apple's all gross.
Apples, everything is...
also, just watching Fluttershy's transformation was actually really cool too, because it was just her wings turn into bat wings, and her ears turn into bat ears, and she grew the fangs. Her eyes turned red, and her cutie mark even changed.
Yep, instead of 3 butterflies with 3 bats.
Yep, 3 bats. So that's kind of interesting.
Yep, I like how she was using her tail to.
Yeah,
she's using her tail to hold on to things, which is a little interesting, but okay.
No claws to hang on stuff, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, she's also, of course, hanging upside down in the tree and like all folded up.
And I think they did really, really well on the design for that.
Yeah, it was really nice.
They did.
People really love it, to the point. Actually, I was kind of minorly hoping that maybe it would be permanent. That'd be interesting. It's like
she kept her fang.
I know, but it was that'd be interesting if they actually kept the look, even if they somehow got a way to get her under control.
Yeah.
Maybe and change her cutie mark back, I guess. But
yeah,
it'd be interesting. Bat wings are permanent. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Because bat ponies are a thing.
Yes, that actually does raise a point. We do have actual bat ponies. We only saw them once with Luna's guard. And who was it? Who was this show staff?
It was confirmed, I know.
On Twitter.
I think it was Lauren and Megan.
I think that's what it was, too, that they confirmed that they considered bat ponies to be a separate race and not just like an illusion or part of their... Yeah, something they put on.
There's a 4th race, apparently.
Yeah, they consider them to be a completely separate race, so they do exist.
Yeah, so it's just it was kind of cool. It's like it makes you wonder how the bat ponies in general were created came about in the first place. It makes you wonder if it was a Pegasus who was kind of affected weirdly by magic in the way back.
Yeah, I don't know.
You never know. But it was a fun episode.
It was a fun episode, and Pinky.
Pinky.
Hair drill.
Oh, yeah. Her hair turned into a drill. It's like, what?
That was great.
And the signals they had, of course, Pinky somehow was holding her flashlight with her hair.
It's Pinky. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
And
it's
Pinky, at one point, after the song, Pinky sings Fruit Bat Roundup.
Fruit Bat Roundup.
Exactly.
Yes.
And at the end, she tries to do the Transylvanian accent and tries to bite
I
an
want
apple.
to
Of course,
suck your juice.
plastic fangs come right out.
Aww. Yes.
There was a little line in Spike with Spike after all Twilight cast a spell, and just Spike's like, and it's like, thanks for your help. He's just like, he did nothing. He's like, yeah, sure. And he starts walking off.
You didn't actually do anything. Oh, Spike.
Oh, and that reminds, speaking of spells, I remember later when Twilight was explaining what happened, that whole hologram grid thing was so cool looking.
Trixie did something similar
in
Magic Duel, but it was just a screen. But then Twilight goes with the whole grid pattern and then does diagrams. Because she didn't do a screen. She wasn't showing clips of the past. She was, diagramming up on the screen.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Like, yeah, it's the grid.
The grid. A digital frontier.
Digital frontier. Yes. That would be an interesting crossover.
It's been done.
Yes, in the fandom we've done it. I highly doubt we would ever see that in the show.
Nah.
Maybe in merch or something, but
Equestria Girls.
Oh god, Equestria Girls on the grid.
It's the only way really to make it plausible, I think.
Someone's got to have done it by now.
Well, it's the only way to really think about it to make it plausible, because
I mean, yeah, it's technology.
The computers in Equestria aren't really that advanced.
Yeah, I know.
At least what we've seen.
I mean, it's really weird.
There's still a lot of them are still like vacuum tubes and stuff, so that's not really.
Some of them, yeah, but some of them aren't. I don't know. Technology in Equestria is weird.
Pot convenient is what it is.
It is what it needs to be at the time. Yeah.
So, yeah, I liked it a lot. I know you like. I already said that a lot, but it was just a fun episode.
It was.
Again, nothing about the box or Equestria games, but it was a fun little episode. It was surprising seeing Fluttershy having a big moment twice in a row.
Yes.
Because last time we had the Hulk thing, and now we got now we just saw Flutter Hulk Bat thing. That's just.
Oh dear.
And of course, I've always seen that because the one of the scenes during the song is this big bat thing rising over the horizon. Of course, looks vaguely like the Batman symbol. So of course,
yep.
Applejack as the Batmare or something. Her parents are dead.
Yes.
Always.
That's gonna be a recurring joke.
Somehow Rainbow Dash somehow convinces Applejack to be the Batmare. And give her a cider. All the cider she wants.
Cider. Oh yeah, that's another one. Rainbow Dash and her cider.
Yeah.
Rainbow. That's yes.
Obsessed. Someone think of the cider.
Someone please think of the cider.
Rainbow Dash has a problem.
I think Rainbow Dash might have a cider problem.
Next week on a very special episode of My Little Pony.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no.
That'd be hilarious. Hire me, Hasbro.
No. No.
I'll fix all your mistakes.
And next we know, it turns into Twilight the show.
I don't see the problem with this.
I think a lot of other people would.
Well, those people are obviously wrong.
I would disagree.
I've not seen the light of Twilight. But, yeah, the Dash cider thing was pretty great. The other family, all the other family members were off elsewhere apparently to scout out the competition for for the Apple thing, which explains why they weren't there. I do believe that. There, they also kind of talked about because the fruit bats showed up before, and people were like, "Aren't they all just the West Coasters?"
there was a quick little bit.
No, these are different. These are vampire
fruit bats.
Those fruit bats, they're harmless.
Yes. Because those fruit bats were bats that were made of fruit.
Yeah.
The vampire fruit bats are bats that eat fruit. Let's hope they don't eat the fruit bats.
Oh, dear.
But they did make them. Oh, no, they explained that too.
Well, they're fruit bats. It's because they're vampire fruit bats. Wouldn't that mean they go after any fruit? And then by making it so they don't eat apples, wouldn't that just mean they just eat other fruit instead?
Maybe. I don't know.
That would make sense, because otherwise, like, what
it only showed them reading newspaper.
Yeah, because, like, what do they eat?
Yeah.
It'd have to be just they eat other fruit, which I guess means it wouldn't be the chaotic thing that happened with the Paris Sprites back in season 1.
Yeah. Instead of eating food, they ate non-food.
I like this episode a lot.
Yes, this is.
So far, season 4 has yet to disappoint me.
Yeah, that's one thing, and some other people have said this. If you were disappointed in season 3 and just kind of stopped really watching, season 4 is making up for it already.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this is only episode 7. We still got another 19 to go.
Yeah.
And if some rumors should be true, I believe this was something like in the middle of the season, so 12 or 13. That's when we're going to see Equestria Games stuff.
Yeah.
Really happening, and then the rest of the season will probably be all about the box.
The box. What's in the box?
Rainbow Power.
Oh God.
Oh.
Hey, if they do it right, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think they can do it right. I mean, right now it's vague enough that there's a lot of options that way they could take that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, yeah.
Let's be honest though. This episode was kind of skimpy on story.
It was.
Scant of details. It didn't need a lot. I mean,
it was
just
very
fun watching
isolated
it
too. Very isolated.
It was very self-contained.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's, as you can probably tell, we don't actually have a ton of story stuff to talk about because there's nothing really affects anyone. It was all undone by the end, and I mean, there's no like glaring flaws with it either.
No,
nothing glaring. I mean, I think the worst I can really come up with was the song was only okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it, I guess, but not
as much as some of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think even the previous season 4 song we've gotten so far, it was better.
Hearts as Strong as Horses.
Yeah, I think that was a better song.
I did enjoy that one, mainly for its instrumentation, but this one had an interesting.
I think also maybe I guess you could level the criticism of I thought this was going to be an Applejack episode, but then again, to be honest, at this point we're kind of getting to the point where we're getting multi-pony episodes rather than although then again we're going to get a rarity episode next week, so
yeah, I don't know. They might be able to throw someone else in there too.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Like Spike.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Sparity, go.
Sparity.
Sounds like a mint or something.
No, it's experiment. That's what you're getting that from.
But I can't think of anything seriously went wrong with the animation or anything. It all looked really great. In fact, other times it looked gorgeous.
Yeah, like that spin effect that they did. I'm trying to remember. It was Applejack and someone else up on a hill, and it did a quick pan around.
Yeah.
A quick spin pan around. It was kind of a cool effect.
Oh no! That reminds me when they're supposed to have their signal for if something weird was happening. You know, Pinky was talking, and then she shines a light right into Applejack's face, and Applejack kind of blinks and kind of eyes roll around and stumbles over. I love that little detail. Did not even have to have that stumbling thing, but it was hilarious.
It was great. It was great.
They're really on fire. I mean, they're like everything's like firing on all cylinders. They're like all the stuff is getting good, really good, and all the characters are like really on fire. All the dialogue's really nice. I'm just enjoying it.
I am, yeah.
It's really good season.
It is.
This is blowing everything else out of the water.
Yeah. So far, it's best. I'd like to say so far it's the best season we've had.
Yeah. Well, we're not even.
But we're only 7 episodes in, so I can't.
We're just barely a quarter of the way in.
I can't really make that judgment just yet.
But
it's
shaping up.
It's shaping up.
Unless there's some really bad episodes later on.
Yeah.
Which at this point I don't believe would happen.
And we still got a long way to go. We'll see. Hopefully not. Cross our fingers.
Yeah, cross our fingers. It's not going to happen. So anyway, I believe that's all we can talk about this episode.
That's all I can think about.
I mean, we did repeat ourselves a lot, so can't really come up with much more. So I guess we should just move on to our second discussion topic, which is, we're going to just talk about 2013 in general, because I did this last year with other hosts for 2012, and it makes sense to do it again, especially since this year was very eventful.
We had a big year.
This period, no matter how you look at it, it's a big thing. Even if you look just at the show, it just, without even looking at the fans, big things happen. So I guess kind of go, just kind of like talk about a few of the things, come up with them as we can, and just talk a little bit about what we thought about it or how it affected us at all. I guess the first big thing which happened in January was confirmation of Alicorn Twilight being a thing.
Oh,
that was
boy.
the first big thing.
Yes.
It was nasty.
It was nasty. And I'm actually not with you on how we think about that one.
Of course not.
Yeah,
That's
I've never actually been a huge fan of the idea. I mean, I'll live with it. I'm not gonna throw a huge stink like some other people online do. But I've never been a huge fan of the idea, especially the way they handled it. I did not like the finale. I thought it was rushed and incoherent. I think they could have done a lot better if they had a two-parter. Um, I feel they can play it out well. They can take it places. But my biggest issue with Alicorn Twilight is how they introduced it. I think it was done badly. I think it was rushed. I'm not.
the face was rushed.
Yeah, like I said, I'm repeating myself, but yeah, I'm not 100% against the idea of it, but I'm not sold. Even after the premiere, which definitely helped the mistakes I feel were happened in the finale. I'm I'll live with it. It's gonna grow on me, but I'm not 100% sold. We'll see how it plays out. I'm reserving most of my judgment, though.
Been reserving your judgment for almost a year.
Yes, I have been reserving my judgment, but that's because there was a huge delay between the season 3 and season 4.
Well, anyway, as you're probably all well aware, I have always loved the concept, and in fact, liked the concept back when I first heard about it back in 2011. Even though at that point it was just fandom stuff, but still, at that point in time, when I first heard about it, I was like, I like this. I like this a lot. So, so when it was officially at that point in time, I already pretty much knew it was happening, but getting the official confirmation made me really excited, and
I think giddy is the term.
yeah, I like the concept, and there's actually I found an old thing I said where I said it was probably never happened as much as I'd wanted it to. I guess I was wrong. That was a long time ago, though. I think I said that like about a year before it actually did happen. So, but yeah, I was surprised when I found out it might actually be happening. I was so excited. You probably could hear it every single time I talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, I think so. I heard.
And when it did finally happen, you probably also heard I actually really did like the episode, even with its problems. Because I will admit, very much so, it had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But I just honestly thought in the end the positives did outweigh the negatives because the whole. As far as, yes, I do believe its biggest problem was it needed to be a two-parter and it wasn't. And I would gladly sacrifice Spike at your service to get a two-parter.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that one. That episode could have gone just to get.
Oh, and that reminds me, just get back on back on the old topic real quick. Spike at your service. That's what reminded me. Meriwether Williams. It was credits.
Right.
Bats credited the wrong writer. It was Meriwether Williams who wrote it. Not.
Yeah, is that the first one that she's done this season? I know there's a bit.
I thought she did something else.
I can't remember. I
thought she did Fight to the Finish or something like that.
Could have sworn she did. I can't remember.
Anyway,
I have to look it up. But yeah, this episode was miscredited. It was supposed to
be Meriwether Williams, who has kind of, to be honest, gotten a kind of unfair reputation in this fandom.
Yeah, there's a bit of controversy over the stuff that she's written. Mainly,
it's weird
Mare-Duell.
If you look at Mare-Duell in particular,
she wrote Mare-Duell, and that one
Spike at Your Service was another one.
Yeah, but she also wrote some good ones.
Yeah, she wrote some of the good ones too. Like if you look at some of the old season 1 stuff, it's like that's Meriwether Williams. I thought she was supposed to be the bad writer.
Yeah,
I think she was also responsible with the Cutie Box, or was that someone else?
Well, I know she's done a few.
I know she did the
Wonderbolt.
I know she did Wonderbolt Academy.
Yeah, she did that one. That was
really
well
received.
Really good.
And of course she did this one, which as far as I've seen is also pretty well received as well. So yes, for some reason she got this really nasty reputation for being a terrible writer.
But she really isn't. She just had a couple bad ones.
She's just. I think honestly, I've looked at it. I think it was for a while it was like half and half. Like,
yeah.
It was just basically she was just the most inconsistent. As in, it's sometimes like in Spike at Your Service, she completely ignored Spike's character and wrote a story for someone else. Whereas with
she didn't actually have any in the first season. It looks like.
Could have sworn she had one or two in the late first season or something.
I don't see any unless they're uncredited. I don't know. Yeah, she had. I think her first one least that I see a credit for, is Mysterious Murder-Well.
Oh.
So that probably put a bad taste in people's mouths. So
I know she wrote one. I could have sworn she wrote Dragon Quest or something. One of the later ones in season 2 that people really loved.
well, in season 2, yeah, Mysterious Murder-Well, she did Hearthswarming Eve.
Hearthswarming Eve, which was pretty well received.
She helped with Putting Your Hoof Down.
Another well received one.
And Dragon Quest.
Well received.
She did Wonderbolt's Academy.
Really well received.
And Spike at Your Service.
Really hated.
And she did Bats.
Bats. Okay, so she hasn't written this season yet.
So Bats is the first one she's done this season.
Okay, I was wrong. So still,
yeah.
That's actually a really good track record when you think about it.
It is a really good track record, and she's starting off this season on the right hoof. We'll say that.
You should have seen the glare I gave him.
Yes, that was a death stare. But oh well.
But anyway, back to the 2013. But yeah, I should have brought that up when we were talking about it. I just kind of slipped my mind. But back to what I was saying. Yeah, like I said, the finale from season 3, I did like it despite its problems, and it did have pacing issues. It probably could have been a little less ambiguous about what the hell Star Spell did. But the problem is you got getting to the point of you're kind of giving too much more information than is really required. But it's one of those things you kind of have to balance with a kid show because you could be honest, a kid is not exactly always going to have the best attention span, so you kind of have to work around that. You can't, if you get too wordy, they're just going to go.
Yeah. I still think they just try to shove way too much stuff in to not enough time. And
I still very little stand by the assertion that I think they had too much for a single episode, but not enough for 2 episodes. So they decided what's worse. We only have 13 episodes. Try not to stretch out one and waste an entire episode on this. Just compress it down, because it feels like the natural cutoff, the split point would be right when Twilight disappears.
When she blows up.
Yeah, that feels like the natural split point, but that's 2/3 of the way in the episode. So the other third, that you have to find a way to stretch that out into a whole episode. I think that's what it feels like. It feels like the natural split point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Be different in which way, but okay. So I guess the next, So of course there was that, and then right after that, like a week or 2 at most, was the Unicon.
Oh,
Las Pegasus Unicon, which just blew up. Or imploded, I should say.
Yeah, it imploded on itself on that.
That was a big thing. That was our first big failure of a con.
I don't think we still have confirmation as to what the hell happened. The people who ran that con, I still think they're in hiding, unless people just haven't been talking about it. I have not heard, because they were still trying to figure out what the hell happened to the money.
I didn't hear anything either. But
yeah, I haven't heard anything. They've been looking, but nothing. No news on that.
It just kind of
those guys just disappeared suddenly.
Yeah, so
it's really sounding like it wasn't just an implosion, that it was a scam.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the first. Let's be honest. Let's remember that was the first time one of the cons has ever failed like that. No, I think before that there was always the hiccups that every con has, especially first year cons. But this was the first one that completely and totally failed to the point where it's like no money, people are stranded.
Yeah,
people aren't getting paid what they were promised.
Yeah, that was
people getting booted out of their rooms.
I mean, we had a couple. I'm trying to remember the good things that came out of that. One, how we pulled together and got people home. That was cool to see.
Yeah.
It should never have happened.
No.
But it was cool to see it happen. But
it also had a nasty effect of it kind of scared Tara Strong off of doing more ponycons, which I believe she had planned to do others, but she just kind of dropped them because that one was such a massive failure.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to. I mean, yeah, if you've never done conventions before, which most of these voice actors and show staff haven't. I mean,
voice actors have. Tara Strong,
some of them, but they're not as big.
Yeah.
When you have something like that, I mean, that's a lot of money that all of a sudden they have to pay out of their pocket just to get home.
Yeah.
Or that they're out and they lose time, all sort of stuff that they also have the compensation they were originally planned. They don't want to have to deal with it again. So,
it was.
I mean, some of the other names, some of the other people there knew what was going on. I mean, got a hold of some of the other people, like how we handled all that. I mean, we handled it fairly well and got the people home, but it should never have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was just particularly bad because the fan people were like, "Oh, you were going to pay for you to be here. and or we were going to pay for your hotel room and your flight, and then suddenly they
Didn't.
they had no, because it's like, oh great, I'll show up then, because they had no way to pay for it themselves, and now suddenly they're stuck in Vegas,
Yeah.
which is not a fun place to be stuck in,
No.
especially if you don't have a lot of money.
No. That's really bad place to get
Unless
stuck.
you're like really insanely lucky with gambling, and you have like $1.
Yeah. Good luck with that one.
Yeah, good luck. But it was not. It was, yeah. This was right after.
Yeah, right after.
So this was like two big drama
I will
things in a row.
say it's the first big one that we've had in our fandom, but it is not. If you talk to some of the other people who've done conventions, like some of the staff members, it's not uncommon to see
Yeah.
in other fandoms, like Star Trek fandom, which we actually tied a little bit off of that. We used can't remember what's the. It was Patrick Stewart's agent, I think, or something like that.
Huh.
That we actually used his PayPal for all the donations to get everyone
Oh,
home.
yeah, that's right.
Because
Like that.
no one in our fandom had a business PayPal account that
Yeah.
could actually handle all of that, because PayPal has restrictions.
Yeah.
So I think John Delancey's agent, or someone, it wasn't
Something like that. I don't
it was
remember
one
exactly
of one
what
of the show
happened.
staff's agents was friends with another guy's agent, and they was able to use his PayPal to take all the
everything all set up.
donations, so you can actually hold everything. So
Yeah.
and they're like, yes, it has happened in other places.
Yeah,
It's
I know
not.
it has.
It's unfortunate. It's not super common, but it does happen.
Yeah, this was.
So there was a lot of fortunately there was a lot of understanding with the agents, but yeah, that was not a fun
Not
thing
for
to
anyone.
happen.
It was the first time it happened in this fandom. It was like one of those things I thought would have happened earlier, especially with, if I remember, a lot of the allegations being leveled at Canterlot Gardens in 2012. I thought it would happen, but now it's like a lot of, I know it had the, I guess, silver lining. I said this before, was a lot of conventions kind of rethought themselves and now have canceled because of it.
Yes.
Preemptively canceled. Like, I know Canterlot Gardens were trying to do a Kickstarter and that failed, and they
Yeah, and that's another one. They realize this is
expensive.
serious. This is something you can't just, let's just have a convention.
Yeah, a lot of
No,
people get into that
no,
thinking they can just,
you've
we can
got
do this,
to-
and now no, it's expensive.
Yeah, I remember some things that Royal Coat, one of the head guys for Everfree Northwest over here, was talking about. He said, first thing, if you're going to do a convention, incorporate.
Yeah,
You have to do it.
which is what
You
Everfree did.
need. Yeah, and that Everfree
What
had
was
the
it? Was it-
Pegasi
was it-
core.
Yep, that's what it was.
Pegasi core. That's the first thing before they even started to set up. They got people incorporated so they can actually handle things with finances and such like that. Because there's so much red tape you have to deal with, and being incorporated lets you handle some of the stuff. It's serious. You've got to know what
You
you're
have to
doing.
be serious. You have to have someone who knows what they're doing.
And I know a lot of the
And you have to have
conventions,
a
little conventions,
serious-
it was just a meetup that got big, and I said, let's have a convention. It's like, you can't really do that. And you can't. It's
I'm glad that
a lot of the little ones shut down.
either
because
shut down or is kind of
or
maybe not actually
maybe
a convention
merged.
anymore.
I mean,
Yeah, and I think a couple merged.
A couple of them merged, and a couple of them stick with the local meetups.
The last big convention was Nightmare Night, and I've heard that one went pretty well. So
Yeah, I heard that one went pretty well.
and now
then
we
we've
got BabsCon and
BabsCon.
BronyCon.
BronyCon's
BabsCon's shaping up to be big.
That one
BronyCon's
is.
always
I don't.
been
Have
big.
we had? Is this the first year for BabsCon? I can't remember if that one
I
was.
could have sworn they had one last year.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, BronyCon's well established at this point.
This is like their fourth.
Yeah,
Because
they've been going
because I
since
know
the
they had the summer and
beginning.
winter versions initially, and then now they just cut it down to single.
So that one we pretty much don't really have to worry
Yeah,
about.
so hopefully.
Hopefully they're
Unless
well
it's collected fire again.
established. Yeah, we won't have another BronyCon.
Yeah, so like every convention has its weird things. Like I remember the first year at Everfree was just the organization was pretty nightmarish at times.
The organization it was classic first year. I think a lot of the organization issues we had was they had to move stuff at the last minute because of the growing too bigger
Yeah.
than what they expected and moving to two hotels.
Plus,
And that messed up the
add in
convention
that
a bit.
having to take everyone to the top floor of that one hotel.
Yeah, that hotel they said they've done conventions, but I don't think they've ever done a convention like ours before. It wasn't the greatest for it. Neither one really was. I think the Marriott was set up better. Which is strange because I think the Marriott was actually the second hotel.
Yeah, it was.
set up. They
It
were
was
originally
weird.
only going to do it at the Holiday Inn,
Yeah.
but then they added the Marriott. The Marriott was better set up. Last year, though, they moved into
Or this year, I
the
guess.
Hilton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
this
Hilton.
year, whatever.
A
It's
lot better.
We can call it we can call it 2014 already. It's close enough. We've only got, what, 3 days?
Not even that.
Not 2. Yeah.
But yeah. Hilton. Of course, they're going to be in Hilton next year.
It's
So
going to be Hilton next year.
and it seems
that was
it's obviously
definitely-
now I have a better idea what they're doing.
Yes. Now that we've got over the first year bit.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. It was a lot better run last year or this year.
Yes.
Yeah, you got me doing it. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping that people just. It looks like people took what happened with Unicon to heart and made sure. Because remember, that's one of the big things is have your finances in order. Do not, because that's one of the things that I recall is just something like they just misestimated or they were relying on people bringing in more money and not enough people.
Or it was a scam.
Yeah, I just remember that was one of the things was I remember if it's not a scam, there was something I remember seeing it was they're just relying on more attendance than they got, and so when that money didn't come in,
Yeah.
uh-oh. That's why I'm hiring anyway. But
Those were the two things. One, they made a last-ditch effort and grabbed a whole bunch of show staff expecting to get a whole bunch of attendance, and they didn't, or that it was a scam. Those are pretty much the two explanations that I can think of.
Yeah.
The problem being, they never came forward. They disappeared. It leaves us to only assume one option.
well, yeah. So that was the next big nasty thing. Then I remember, I guess, the next big thing that happened in the fandom was that picture showed up on a Tumblr of the main 6 as humans.
Oh boy!
Yeah, that was the third big one, and it was
Yeah.
the nasty thing was all 3 of these things were one right after another, so the fandom just was at a boiling point because they never really had time to cool down. And like previous drama, I guess the fandom just never got a chance to really cool down for these ones, so it just kept getting worse to the point where people
and they were big drama. I mean, I don't think we've had anything that big.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden we had all of this all right after each other.
The
Oh
fandom's
my
trial
god,
by
everything is terrible.
Yeah. So, as you know, it was at first most people assumed it was fake because of where it came from and stuff, and just like it's fake.
It's fake. We
And
could
I'm
never
just
have
like,
this.
And then I start looking around and like Forestring told me, yeah, it's real. I can tell you read this now. It's real.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's like so I'm telling people it's real, and other people are like I'm not sure, and it's actually kind of funny how often people I've noticed that can't tell real from fake anymore. Like they call the fake stuff real and the real stuff fake anymore. It was happening, and then it wasn't officially announced for a while, but it kind of came out of the toy fair in New York Toy Fair, I believe. Yeah, there was a booklet that announced that it pretty much outright said it was called Equestria Girl, is a brand new thing, and it's coming this year, and it's going to be a theatrical release, and oh boy.
Oh.
And then we got the
boy.
ads started showing up, and it was like, yep, it's real. It's really real.
Yeah, that was a shitstorm.
Yeah, that was
That was
fun.
Not the good fun though.
And then, of course, a lot of people were crying it as the worst thing ever, and it's going to destroy the fandom. And well,
It didn't.
it just
We're still
came
here.
out, and then the movie finally came out. Remember, this was the first theatrical MLP release in almost 30 years. Just remember that. Almost 30 years. It was something like 27 or something like that. I think 86 was when the first one. I don't remember.
know.
But anyway, this has only been the second time they've
Yeah.
ever had a theatrical MLP release, even though it was limited still, a release in theaters. And the movie came out, and people finally got to watch it, and for the most part, the reaction came down to, if it all balanced out, it's like,
Wasn't the greatest.
that was pretty
It
much
wasn't
the action
like
was,
super awesome, but it wasn't fandom destroying.
it wasn't the horrible thing everyone thought it would be. It wasn't really particularly great either. It was
So
just
some people still thought it was absolutely horrible, and some people thought it was absolutely great. But we're going to get that in
again,
anything.
I was balancing all out. The general reaction was just,
Meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting when you look at some of the stuff. It just wound up, guess what? It didn't destroy the show. It didn't destroy the fandom. And everything was fine.
Everything's going to be just fine.
Exactly. Everything was just fine.
Everything was just fine.
Never said that. It never said it'd be fine immediately. Just it would be fine.
It would be fine. Might take a little while to get there, but we'll get there.
And we love fine.
No, we are not affiliated with them.
But yeah, I guess that was the next big thing. I'm trying to. Yeah, most of the stuff, to be honest, happened in the first part of the year. I mean, after that, everything kind of calmed down.
Well, yeah, and then we hit the break. The break.
Yeah, then we
period.
hit the actual break between the movie
then
and
everything
season
is kinda
4, and
slowed
we just
down
kind of
then
we got
like
we
normal.
got the first actual we got actually confirmation the season 4 is coming. Then we got the animatics from Comic-Con, And, then it was just the typical build up of a new season, and everyone's getting all hyped up and stuff. And
other than those big things right in the beginning, we had a pretty standard.
it was the
mid
big things.
mid.
We had a few little fandom little snits, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the Down with Molestia thing happened.
Yeah, that
I don't
did.
really like
that
to
was a
talk about that
thing.
because
We don't. Yeah,
it happened.
it happened. It was a thing.
It was controversial no matter how you looked at it, but it happened. I believe there wasn't really anything else though other than I can think of that to
Not,
really.
not really noteworthy
I mean,
that I
I
can
guess
think
season
of.
4 happened, but
And then season 4 happened, and we're right where we are now.
yeah. So yeah,
Amidst
beyond that, really. I mean, like I said though, if we missed something, sorry, but those are the
it's the
big
end of
things
the
that
year.
weigh on
It's
me.
been a year. We might miss some things.
I mean, I think one other convention kind of imploded, but it was so small no one noticed.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember hearing that some convention
remember
had the
about
same
one.
basic. It was. It wasn't.
There
it
wasn't any show staff, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think they had like one big guest, and they weren't even that big. And I believe that one what happened. It was actually confirmed not a scam. It was just poor management of money.
Yeah.
So that one imploded, but no one cared because barely anyone went anyway.
Yeah.
Everfree. Oh, for me personally, Everfree went off without a real big hitch.
Everfree. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Though Dare Stronghold was disappointing.
Yeah.
And I think Tabitha was supposed to show up, but then backed out.
I think she. I want to say she was sick.
Yeah, she
something
got
like
sick or
that.
something.
I think it was either that or a different convention that she was sick
I
for.
believe she was supposed to show up at that one, or at Everfree, but she couldn't at the last
Yeah.
second.
I'm still waiting for Ashley to show up.
One
But
day.
We'll see. I missed a chance to meet her at a concert, but oh well. One day.
By the way, also fun thing about the Equestria Girls is that as controversial as it became, and the fizzle out, it just if controversial was the fizzle out it became, it was oddly enough Shout Factory's biggest release ever. Amazing. And then now, of course, the rumors swirled around a little bit ago when a listing popped up for Equestria Girls 2 book.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Equestria Girls 2 as a book.
But is it just a book or is it a novelization of another movie?
Yeah,
Because
that we don't know.
It's one of those things like, what's going to happen?
I don't know. It is definitely weird.
If it happens, well, guess what? Who's going to see it? Some way, somehow.
Yep.
Got to talk about it after all. I
Yeah.
mean, we're like I said, we promised to do Equestria Girls, but things happened.
Things happened.
Alas.
That's all that comes to mind.
I really can't think of anything really big. Oh wait, I almost forgot the cease and desist of Fighting His Magic collects right at the beginning of the year too. That was a big one.
We all just wanted to forget
that was another thing that
happened.
added to the insanity in the beginning. Was just
Yep.
people were hating Hasbro for doing that, even though it's like, look, legally they're in the clear. It's just, from my understanding, I can't confirm this, but or anything. I can't say with absolute
We're not lawyers. Nothing
Yeah,
we
I can't-
say can be held. Yeah.
I can't say it with absolute conviction, but I believe what happened was basically, if you remember, there was that vote for
The Evo.
Evo.
It was
and
the Evo Fighting Championship.
Fighting His Magic showed up on it, and because it got so much publicity out of that, Hasbro was basically forced to take action. Because before they were just kind of letting things slide.
That's the way I like to think about it, because it definitely
enough.
puts it, makes us, stay friends with Hasbro. That Hasbro knew about Fighting His Magic.
They knew.
But
we knew
because
they
it was
knew.
so small, they were able to keep it under the radar and let it run. But the minute Evo picked it up, since Evo's so big,
Yeah.
and forced it into that public eye, it forced Hasbro's hand because of trademark law. Because how trademark law is, they had to act. They had to do something. So it's not like Hasbro being mean and shutting down the fandom. It's the laws are the way they are. They have to act. So they held off as long as they possibly could. But because of the Evo thing, it wasn't what it
I
may
know there
not
were
have been what
Hasbro employees who were very
had.
much well aware, and I knew there was like one or two who were definitely fans
Although
of the project.
Yeah, one silver lining, they're still going with a different thing, not pony
Not
related.
ponies.
But Lauren Faust signed on with the team to make new characters to use. So that's a definite silver lining. They're now working with Lauren Faust.
Yeah.
And then Skullgirls gave them the engine because they got a high enough donation.
Lab Zero.
Lab Zero gave them the The engine.
The Z engine,
Z
because of
engine.
the Indiegogo reached a certain point. So now they
So
get to use a
that's
nice
cool.
engine, not limited to a tiny little 640 by 480 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah, working. What was that? What program were they using?
Fighter
Fighter
Maker, I
Maker.
believe.
Yeah, so they're not limited to the
Now
fighter
they can
makers.
go
They
now
actually
so they
have a
can
real
realistically
engine.
they can realistically sell it now too.
Yes, they can. Of course,
So
it's not ponies, but oh well.
yeah, of course that's what mods are for, right?
Right. Yes. Right. Anything?
I can't. I guess I had something in my head.
I
for a
know
second.
Pony Cart was kind of getting big, and they got
Pony Cart
and they
can't- they just gave up.
They gave up
They just-
recently, actually.
Very recently. That
They
was
recently gave up, but that was open source, and I think there's still some people working on it because they
trying
just
to.
opened
But yeah, the
everything out. But
majority. I think the people started. It's
the
like,
main
no,
people, yeah.
we're done.
Yeah, I think a lot of them, they accomplished as much as they originally planned, enough to use in a portfolio, but didn't have the time to continue working on it.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what they had in their news post.
I do know that there's a lot of games right now. I remember Everfree after there was people with the My Little Investigations team. They were talking about like cease and desist and stuff. Like if we get one, we'll try to continue on or something without the ponies or something. But it's one of those things.
Yeah.
It's like it's all if we make a big engage in a big fan project, it's always hanging over your head.
Yep. And chances are you're never going to get, permission. That's
I mean,
very
somehow the
few
Double Rainbow
things.
guy got permission just because of the fact it was a student project.
Yeah, probably because it was a student project and such
So
like
if you're
that.
in game development,
I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, go ahead and try.
I mean, it's a student project, so
yeah.
go for that one. But yeah, it's just so yeah, that was the big thing I guess was Hasbro cease and desist, which, like I said, you can get angry all that you want, but and that reminds me, the other cease and desist that happened around the same time was the EquestriaGirls.com, which used to link to the video,
Yeah.
the old ad with the Equestria Girls parody, and then Hasbro said this is ours now.
Yeah, they own the trademark. They do that.
And
They
the
took
people running
domain.
it got upset because like we had this before the trademark existed.
Yeah, which is a little interesting. Even with
It's
trademark
complicated.
laws. Even with trademark laws.
It's a complicated thing just because I think because also it wasn't someone else's business. It was using assets that Hasbro owned anyway. They
yeah,
were
that was
perfectly
probably
within the
it.
legal
I mean,
rights.
was it the Katy Perry parody
Yeah.
video? Yeah, that's what it is. Previous usage was by Hasbro.
Yeah, so basically
Hasbro owned the original usage that they were using, so they can claim, I think,
it's ours.
something like,
It's ours.
yeah, previous trademark.
Yeah, because they're using Hasbro assets.
Yeah, so I think that's how it plays out. Because otherwise, you can't trademark something that someone is
They'd have
already
to
using.
And
But
the
if you
person
can
was upset
prove-
because it's like I would have given it up if you asked, but you just came in with your lawyers and
Yeah.
they can do that. I mean, it's
Technically
one of
they
those things
can.
where it's like, if I recall, this is the thing. Hasbro's learned how to deal with the fan base like this with Transformers.
Yeah.
And I know this being a Transformers fan. And let's be honest, there are people like this who will have a site like that who will not give it up.
Yeah, I remember I think there was a couple like torrenting for pony sites. They got a cease and desist, and all they did was move and kept it up.
I remember there was that one
Pony
site.
Archive? I think Pony Archive got a cease and desist and still tried to fight it.
Yeah, they tried to fight it. They didn't get a cease. It was
That was a while back. That was,
yeah, it was a
over a year
long
ago.
time ago, but that was before even. I think it was before even season 2 was finished.
Yeah,
But yeah, I just remember they got shut down eventually.
they did.
I think that people eventually gave up because like no, Hasbro's not going to stop because you're basically. It's also the thing I remember when the Hasbro copyright notifications started showing up on YouTube videos is like people at first thought it was trolls because some of them were misspelled, but no, it's just because someone typoed when they were entering the information in. And yeah, Hasbro is claiming these, and we have to claim these.
Yep.
And I noticed they are kind of slow about it. They can be
Yeah.
a lot faster if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
But they noticed it like wait at least a couple days before they go ahead and remove the YouTube video because I think they realize a lot of international people simply cannot
Yeah. So it's like
buy it. or
they're
watch
finding
it.
some sort of middle ground where they're trying to help us out, but they still have to deal with trademark laws. They still have to because of the way the laws work.
Yeah. Plus, let's be honest.
So
This
they
whole
give
thing
they
is
give
not
us
their
what
choice.
they can, but they still have to act.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Also, they just want us to buy the merchandise, which we are definitely
they-
buying.
Yes, we are. They do need the profits, or they can't continue to run. show wouldn't exist without the merchandise. Think about it that way. Without the sales from the merch and that sort of stuff, we would not have what we have now.
Yeah, just remember, and that reminds me, just remember if you're complaining that the show is now too merchandise driven, you're not paying attention. Because it's always been merchandise driven ever since 1983.
The show is there to support and promote the merch.
It's always been a half-hour long commercial.
Yeah, that's the way it's been.
It used to be worse, though.
This generation just happens to be a really, really good
And if you think it's bad, if you honestly think like season 3 and 4 are like bad about it or something, about the blatant product placement or something, it's 1,000 times worse than the old stuff.
I have yet to see a brand logo sitting on the side of a billboard in the show yet, so it's not as bad as some.
It was 1,000 times worse. I don't know if you've heard the podcast about the G1 movie. You'll know that it used to be a lot worse. Because that was just the movie. It's like, hey, look, here's the new playset. That's basically just like, here's a new playset. Basically, it was that blatant. They didn't even say playset, but it was pretty obvious what was going on.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, old home is destroyed. It's like also the old Transformers movie. Let's be honest, they killed off a lot of characters, beloved characters, to make room for the new toys.
Yeah,
make room for new characters who are new toys that coming out that year, and they didn't realize kids would have a formed attachments to those characters.
Yeah. I think
because remember in the 80s that was right after the whole laws were changed about how you can advertise to kids, so they could do these sort of shows where they could just say, hey, they're merchandise driven.
Yeah,
I can't really think because from Equestria Girls release to I guess now there wasn't really a whole bunch of big
standard between season lull.
It's pretty.
Just standard little tidbits that we see here and there.
The usual just little flares of interfandom drama and then and stuff. Just like, oh, so and so stole my artwork or whatever. Just
whatever. Other than that, until we hit just recently with the new season startup, it's been
pretty quiet.
Small.
All
but
quiet
except
on
for
the
that,
front.
The opening of this year was just
just big. Yeah, the opening of this year was just nothing but drama. It was kind of entertaining from afar, but when it kind of started getting kind of close to things you're like, no, get away.
Yeah.
Of course, it didn't help by making that one picture, but whatever.
Yeah.
So.
It's as much as I can think of.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So I guess there's only so many times you could say, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess this is it for this episode. A little bit rambly, probably because I'm kind of a little tired because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Yes.
But anyway, if you actually did enjoy this episode, even if it was only a small part of it, you can find us on Libsyn. We're pony411.libsyn.com. It's Libsyn. You can download us directly from there. Or if you want to use iTunes instead, you can search for Pony411. You will find it, and you can subscribe and automatically download it to your iTunes account or whatever. You can, if you don't want to download it all, you can go to YouTube, youtube.com/pony411. All our episodes are up there, despite you Google trying to mess me up on that. I believe, of course, Twitter is twitter.com/pony411. So, at pony411.
Yep.
You can follow us, message us, tweet us, whatever you want to do. Facebook.com/pony411. If you prefer to go through it that way, you can comment on the video or whatever if you want or not. Don't matter. You can contact me personally on Twitter at NemesisPrime1 or our other person here.
Other person, thank
you. At Alcatraz. That's at _Alcatraz with a 7 _ again.
Yeah.
So it's _ALC.
There's a link for it. Just look at the link.
7RAZ_.
Yes. I didn't want the underscores, but I had no choice.
I had plenty of choice, but
anyway, moving right along.
Yeah, moving right along to the end. So that's it for this episode. Tune in next week. We'll be talking about, I believe, Rarity Takes Manhattan.
Yep.
Gonna be a fun one, I think.
We'll see.
I hope.
We'll see.
So just keep the streak alive. So just remember, though, please pony responsibly.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Good night.